Who was banned from Princess Leonor's wedding? The guest list shocker. It was supposed to be the happiest, most glamorous royal celebration of the decade. Spain's future queen, Princess Leonor, finally stepping into her destiny, not just as heir to the throne, but as a young woman in love, walking down the aisle in a ceremony the world had been waiting for. The royal wedding was meant to unite families, countries, and traditions. But what if I told you that behind the dazzling gowns, the golden tiaras, and the glowing smiles, there was a secret? A secret so powerful, it changed the course of the guest list itself. Because not everyone was welcome. Yes, you heard that right. On the most important day of her life, Princess Leonor, beloved daughter of King Felipe and Queen Letizia, had to face a heartbreaking reality. Certain names were crossed out. Certain invitations were never sent. And certain people, once close to the Spanish royals, found themselves permanently shut out of history. So the question remains, who was banned? And why? This is the untold story of loyalty, betrayal, and shocking exclusions that turned Leonor's wedding guest list into one of the most controversial royal documents in modern times. Now, let's begin. The Spanish monarchy has always been defined by protocol, prestige, and power. Royal weddings are never just family affairs, they are national events. Every choice, every dress, every flower, and especially every guest, carries a hidden meaning. Invitations are not merely symbolic, they are political weapons, emotional olive branches, or sometimes, carefully sharpened daggers. And Leonor's wedding was no exception. From the very start, there were whispers in Madrid. Who would be allowed? Who would be left behind? At first, many assumed the guest list would simply mirror her parents' wedding back in 2004. That grand event had hosted kings, queens, presidents, aristocrats, and celebrities. It was a gathering of the most powerful people in the world. Surely, Leonor's own wedding would follow suit, right? But then came the rumors. Whispers of strained relationships, cold shoulders at family gatherings, unspoken rivalries, and one name after another began to vanish. Let's open the first door, the royal relatives. Not every family member is a beloved guest at the Spanish palace. Take, for example, Princess Cristina, Leonor's aunt. Once admired, she became a source of endless scandal after her husband, Iñaki Urdangarin, was implicated in corruption. Their fall from grace rocked Spain and embarrassed King Felipe. Could the royal family afford to seat them in the cathedral pews as cameras rolled? Could Leonor truly smile at the altar while ghosts of corruption lingered just a few rows away? The palace, sources claim, thought not. And so, Cristina, once a princess of Spain, was whispered to be quietly excluded. But Cristina wasn't alone. Her children, who grew up as Leonor's cousins, also risked exclusion. Imagine the pain of knowing that your own family might not witness the most important chapter of your life. And yet, Leonor, bound by duty, had no choice but to accept that some family ties had already been severed long ago. And then came the second door, royalty beyond Spain. Normally, the wedding of a future queen is a magnet for Europe's monarchies. Kings and queens from Denmark, Sweden, Norway, the UK, Belgium, and the Netherlands traditionally take their seats. But this time, politics and personal drama complicated everything. Consider the United Kingdom. The Windsors are often expected to stand alongside fellow European royals. But with Prince William busy preparing for his own destiny and Prince Harry and Meghan estranged from both his family and much of the continent's royal network, the question burned: would all of them be invited? Or would Leonor's wedding guest list mirror the cold divisions of the House of Windsor itself? Then there's Denmark. Crown Prince Christian, close in age to Leonor, has long been the subject of public speculation. Was he just a friend, or perhaps something more? The press had played with the idea of a future royal romance. If he attended, what message would it send? If he was absent, what story would that silence tell? And this brings us to perhaps the most shocking exclusion of all: personal friends of Leonor herself. Unlike many royals, Leonor spent years studying in Wales, building friendships with classmates far from Spain's throne. These were people who knew her not as a princess, but as simply Leonor. Yet the palace faced a dilemma. Should they invite her private school friends, normal teenagers, now young adults, into the spotlight of one of the world's most watched weddings? Or should those names be quietly erased, to protect both the monarchy's image and Leonor's own privacy? The decision, insiders say, was painful. Some friends may never forgive her. But here's where the story twists even deeper. Because banning guests from a royal wedding isn't just about scandals, politics, or logistics. It's about control. Control of the narrative. Control of the image Spain presents to the world. Every exclusion tells a story, even louder than the invitations themselves. And so, for every person who made it onto the guest list, the kings of Europe, the dignitaries, the glittering Spanish aristocracy, there were others watching from home. People who once stood beside Leonor as confidants, cousins, friends, or even rivals, now forced into the shadows of history. But here's the haunting part. Did Leonor herself agree with all of this? Or was she powerless, a young bride caught between love and duty, forced to accept that her own wedding day would not belong entirely to her, but to the institution she was born to serve? Think about that. As the world watches her radiant smile, her elegant gown, her father leading her down the aisle, how many will know of the pain she felt when certain chairs remained empty? How many will understand the true weight of that moment, when personal love collided with royal responsibility? And so the question remains unanswered. Who, exactly, was banned? Was it disgraced royals, estranged cousins, controversial politicians, or even close friends too ordinary for a royal stage? The truth, in its entirety, may never be fully revealed. The palace protects its secrets carefully. But what we do know is this: behind the sparkling glamour of Princess Leonor's wedding lies a story of sacrifice, silence, and loss. Because in the end, a royal wedding is never just about love. It is about power. And the guest list, as we have now seen, can tell us more than vows, crowns, or carriages ever could. And maybe, just maybe, that is the real shocker of Princess Leonor's wedding day.